Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Weekly podcast. I think we had a little glitch there on our intro, but as you can see, Geoff, Greg, and Tom are here again with you today to talk about our two great NFFC Post-Season Contests. You've got one more day, that's right, one more day to sign up and earn a shot at the $125,000 grand prize in the $200 contest, and one more day to sign up for the $50 contest that has a $50,000 grand prize. Right now, $200 contest is 60% full. The $50 contest is nearing 70% full, which means that spots are still available, but get in soon because tomorrow is going to be a wild, wild day. All right, this entire podcast is going to be dedicated to showing you how to win the grand prizes. So let's get right to it. Guys, we've set our lineups in our internal company contest that we have. Now, it pays about $124,800 less than what our main prize is, but let's walk through our lineups.
I thought you were gonna pull some strings and make our $20 entry six figures somehow.
Listen, we got about $200 in prizes. That's about all we have. So, unless Rob gives us a bonus that we put towards it, that's what we're playing for, baby. That's what we're playing for. So, all right. Now remember, you're picking 12 players in round one, right? One player from 12 different teams. There's 14 teams in the playoffs. That means you're fading two teams. Now, this is how I like to start putting my roster together. Who am I fading? I'm going to you first, Tom. Who are you fading this week?
Well, I think in a larger contest, certainly like our big contest, the main and the mini, you can get cute, you can get clever, especially with a wide open playoffs like this, right? When so many teams potentially can win, you can get cute and maybe fade somebody. I talked the other day. I do think some people might fade the Bears, a weak number 2 seed. But in our smaller contest with only, I don't know how many teams will end up having, maybe 50, maybe 20, how many ever be, just play the chalk. Right. And that's Carolina in the NFC and probably Pittsburgh in the AFC. So those are the two I'm going to fade. I'm not going to get cute, not try to think outside the box. I'm just going to fade the chalk. So the two I'm fading are Carolina and Pittsburgh.
All right, Geoff, you're usually cute. So who are you fading?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on our show Monday, Tuesday, whatever day that was. If you play anyone on Carolina, you're going against the grain in a big way, I think. Yeah. So Carolina's the one. And, I've been giving you guys crap about the Packers for a few weeks here now. But the way my line ended up setting up, and this can change, I'm fading the Bears. Tom mentioned the Bears. You look at their wide receiver spot, there's no one you really like a lot there. I mean, they spread it around. Odunze started out like a house of fire, but kind of fell off. Yeah. Moore's had some nice, weeks. Zacchaeus and, Burden's kind of come on here at the end. And then the running back position, they got Monungai and Swift. They kind of split it, and it's a coin flip between those two. So I'm not going to really feel hurt if the Bears move on and one of those guys is getting 2 times for someone else next week, because they're just as likely to lay an egg next week as they are to have a big game next week. So I'm going against the Bears. The Panthers and Bears are my two fades.
Okay, so I got to ask you, because I agree with you, when you're looking at fade teams like Carolina, maybe you got Ted McMillan, but outside of that, who are you starting? Bears, I'm with you. I think Swift is the best one, but Monungai gets the goal line ones too. So I got to ask you who you're starting with Pittsburgh, because I look at Pittsburgh and I'm like Metcalf, Gainwell, Warren. So who are you leaning there?
Well, this is kind of one of my strategy pieces. I want a running back in the round 2. So I'm going to go Warren for Pittsburgh, and I'm going to go Marks for Houston and guarantee myself a 2 times running back next week. Hopefully, watch one of them gets hurt on the first play and then the other team wins. That served me right for this. But my strategy is Warren and Marks, and hopefully have a good 2-time running back next week.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good. Well, I said on Monday, actually, we fired you on Monday, Geoff, just so you know, because you were going to fade the Packers. Now that you're fading the Bears, you're rehired, baby. Yeah. You're rehired right now. Yeah, Ray's coming as well. Ray's coming as well. All right. I'm taking Carolina and Pittsburgh. Those are my fades again, because I don't really like anybody that I would want to start there. But I hear you where you're going there, Geoff. Okay, so after picking the 2 fade teams, the next best way to build this lineup is to pick your 2 starting quarterbacks that you think are going to go to the Super Bowl. Let's just admit it. In the NFFC, we got 6 points per passing touchdown. So the QBs should score the most points for you. Not necessarily, but they should. So, Geoff, who are the two quarterbacks that you're looking to put in your lineup in round one?
I'm sticking with my picks from earlier in the week. I'm going Philadelphia and Buffalo. So Hurts, Allen. Again, we kind of talked about, I think James Cook is going to be, you talk about Buffalo, they don't have a lot of options. It's either Allen or Cook.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to go Cook this week. So it's kind of a play against him. And I really do think this is kind of Buffalo's year. I've mentioned it. I think these quarterbacks are so young in the AFC, not a lot of playoff experience. I kind of like guys that have been there. This just sets up well for Allen, other than obviously being on the road. No Burrow, no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, the guys that have given them trouble in the past. I'm sticking with the experience, and I think we can agree, right? Josh Allen is the best individual player left in the playoffs. I don't think it's particularly close at this point. So I'm going Buffalo. I'm going Allen. I'm going Philadelphia. I'm going Hurts. So those are my two picks, and that's my Super Bowl pick as well.
All right, I like it. That's getting cute for sure. Tom, who are your two QBs?
Well, I think I'm not sold on the AFC right now. You could ask me tomorrow. I may change my pick. You could ask me on Wednesday on our show. I literally changed my AFC Super Bowl prediction during the show. I just don't know who to pick. So right now, I'm going to pick the team with the quarterback who I think is the NFL MVP, and that's Drake May. I think he's the best player in the NFL this season, ahead of Matthew Stafford. So I'm going to go with New England out of the AFC, but I do think it's any one of three teams. I think it's New England, Jacksonville, or Buffalo. I'm not sold on the Bills at all. I like Josh Allen. I don't like the Bills as a team. But right now, AFC, Drake May. And the NFC, I do think the best potential is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the defending champs. They have a great defense. We know offensively they've been a mess all year, but if they can flip that switch offensively, I think they can run the table. So I'm going to go Jalen Hurts and Drake May.
All right, I'm taking the two co-MVPs. They're going to tie for it this year. Drake May and Matthew Stafford. How about that? So I think I like New England with the one-time starting out. I'll get all 4 rounds if they get to the Super Bowl for scoring, and Stafford would be the same thing. So I'm not sold that the Rams can go 3 road games and win to get to the Super Bowl, but they certainly have the potential. So NFC's wide open. I'm with you. There's so many quarterbacks you could pick there. I like Hurts an awful lot too, but I'm going May and Matthew Stafford. Okay, so next, let's look at the running backs. So we've got 2 fades. We got our quarterbacks up there. Our lineup's looking pretty good. We go with running backs now. We have 3 running back positions and a flex position. So you can have 4 running backs. We talked about this on Monday, guys. The running back position is, I think, more stacked than the wide receiver position. So there's a lot of great options here. I'll go first this time, and I'll tell you, I like 1 running back in the Green Bay Chicago game. If you like Chicago, I think Swift is the best guy. If you like Green Bay, Jacobs is the best guy. Obviously, I like the Packers. I hope the Packers can win. I'm probably doing this with my heart, but Josh Jacobs is healthy. He says the healthiest he's been since he hurt his knee in New York on that stupid artificial turf. And I'm going with Jacobs, okay? I'm adding Christian McCaffrey, James Cook. I think James Cook is going to be heavily owned. And I'm throwing Travis Etienne in my flex. I'm going with 4 running backs. I'm with you, Geoff. I want 2x running backs if possible here. So I'm actually going with 4. Tom, who are your running backs?
All right. So I agree with a couple of that you have in there as well. Actually, 3. I think we'll have 3 of the same. But my first one's going to be my bye pick, RJ Harvey, who's got the week off. So I'll get 2 times when the Broncos come out of their bye next week. He's number 1 there. I agree with you about Travis Etienne. I think he is set up to absolutely smash that horrible Buffalo run defense. I like him a lot. Number 3, Josh Jacobs. Agree with you. I think he's set up against that horrible Bear run defense. I like him a lot. And even though I don't think the 49ers are going to win against Philadelphia, I'm willing to sacrifice McCaffrey. The one weakness that Philadelphia does have, they are terrible against pass receiving running backs. So I think Christian McCaffrey is set up to catch a lot of balls, and he already catches a lot of balls anyway, but I think he's going to be the focal point in the passing game for Brock Purdy. So I'm willing to sacrifice CMC, but I think he's going to load up in scoring in that playoff game against Philadelphia.
Yeah, again, we're all going to lose 4 players, but get the highest scoring player on that team, you're going to lose, right? So, Geoff, who are your 3 or 4 running backs?
I already mentioned Warren and Marks from that Monday night game where one of them hopefully is going to get me 2 times next week, and I don't think they're going to be heavily owned next week. So that's we'll see if it pays off. And then I'm with you guys, Jacobs and McCaffrey. Again, there's just not a lot of other options for those teams. We talked about the Packers earlier in the week. You don't really want to play the quarterback or the wide receivers. The tight end is hurt. So it's either got to be Jacobs or nobody with the Packers. And then again, McCaffrey, you just kind of need to take that as almost as a block, I feel. And, somehow, if somehow San Francisco does win that game, which I mean, it's a possibility. I think we can say it's on the table. Sure. You don't want to not have a 2 times McCaffrey next week.
Yeah, for sure. I think McCaffrey will be very high owned in our round 1 contest for sure. All right. So now we filled out 2 quarterbacks, 3 or 4 running backs. I think all of us got 4 running backs. So let's look at the pass catchers. All right. You have 4 spots, 4 wide receiver tight end spots. We don't have a exclusive tight end spot. So you don't even have to use a tight end in this contest. But you got at least 4 wide receiver tight ends, and then 5 if you want one in the flex there. So, Tom, I'll let you go first. Who's your wide receivers?
Well, number 1's going to be, I think the player is probably going to have near 100% ownership, and that's Jackson Smith-Njigba from Seattle getting the bye this week. I think everybody's going to be having him out of Seattle. And then I'm going to go with Puka Nacua for the Rams. I'm going to take him, certainly assuming the Rams move on. So I'll have him at 2 times, hopefully next week. And then Nico Collins coming out of that Monday night game, assuming the Texans win. So hopefully getting Nico at 2 times. And the one mistake I do think Geoff made, he said the Bears don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Yes, they do. It's Colston Loveland, the tight end. 23 targets and 16 receptions the last 2 games. Now, I know Roma Dunze hasn't been out there, but Colston Loveland is their number 1 wide receiver right now, and I think he's going to be very, very active against the Packers on Saturday. So I'm sliding Colston Loveland in there in that wide receiver tight end spot.
Geoff, go ahead.
Again, and I'm going to bring this up real quick, just kind of a little strategy session. The players lock into their position when their game starts. So if you have someone in flex that plays the early game tomorrow at 4:30, they're locked in there. So make sure you get your guys in the flex spots to give you a little more leniency. Excuse me. Make sure you get your early guys, your guys tomorrow in the running back, wide receiver spots. Get your Sunday guys, the wide receiver, tight end, flex spots. So on to it. Jackson Smith-Njigba, and then Puka. Again, you talked about having Stafford at quarterback. These guys, if they're getting 2x next week, there's no way I don't want 2x Puka, 2x Smith-Njigba. I think you just kind of got to eat it at that point. And then my other one, the wide receiver, I'm going to go Stephon Diggs. That's kind of a bold one. But again, this is kind of I think I might be maneuvering a little bit come Sunday night. We'll see how these other games play out. That's the last game on Sunday at 8:15. If that changes, I have a way to kind of move things around a little bit. Do I go the tight end Hunter Henry? Do I do something different there? Maybe I'll even, come at 4:30. I have McCaffrey in my flex right now. Do I maybe change Diggs to one of the New England running backs and then go with a San Francisco wide receiver or tight end? It's just, a lot of moving parts. We'll see how these early games work out. So that's definitely why I think you should have your Sunday guys in the flex positions.
Yeah.
So McConkey and Diggs are my 2 other wide receivers. So the chalk, Nacua, Smith-Njigba. But then I'm going McConkey and Diggs. And McConkey's another one, late game. If, something changes, I think he's going to be a pretty popular pick for the Chargers. If something changes there, hey, maybe I can go Quentin Johnston. Maybe I can go Keenan Allen. Again, maybe I can look at getting one of the running backs in there and taking McCaffrey out of flex. So I'm giving myself a lot of room to move things around based on how things turn out with the early game on Sunday and the Saturday games.
Yeah, I think Kittle and I think Loveland will be owned as far as tight ends. Again, you don't have to start a tight end, but certainly there are some good options out there. All right, I'm going JSN as well. I'm going with Cortland Sutton. That's my buy guy that I'll have 2 times next week. And then I'm going Nico Collins. And right now I'm leaning on A.J. Brown. I'm not sold on that one yet, but I'm going that way. I don't have Puka. Again, I think Puka is going to be very heavily owned. But if you think the Rams are going to go a long ways, then I want Stafford first, and then I'm going to put Puka in next week. So, all right. So we got all of those positions done. 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers or pass catchers, if you will. Now we got to fill out our rosters. All right. Again, everyone's going to lose at least 4 players. If you faded the right 2 teams, you're only losing 4. If you faded the wrong 2 teams, then you're going to lose up to 6 players. So the 2 spots that you think you might lose players on could be team kicker. And again, we do team kicker here and team defense. Now, that might not be the strategy because you got good defenses in Seattle, Denver, and Houston. Maybe people will put those guys in. I'm going to try to fade these 2 positions. And again, team kicker, hell, Jacksonville's kicker can hit it 70 yards, right? So he might be valuable pickup. But again, I'm kind of fading. So mine is Chargers kicker and Bears defense. Tom, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, keep in mind a few years ago, Evan McPherson, when the Bengals got to the Super Bowl, I mean, if you had him at like 2 or 3 times, that's a lot of points in the Super Bowl. But typically, yeah, you're okay fading these positions. I'm the same way. I got the Chargers team kicker, and then the Bills with a 52.5 point over under. That defense might only get me 2 or 3 points, but that's fine. I'll pick up a new defense next week. So Chargers team kicker with Dicker the kicker, and then the Bills team defense.
Yeah, I talked about the Bucks defense in 2020. They sacked and intercepted Mahomes so much. They were so good. So certainly a defense can help you. I mean, again, Houston's defense as well, but you kind of want this position where you can not worry about a 2X. But Geoff, what about you?
Oh, you mentioned the Jacksonville kicker. No ETN for me. None of the wide receivers in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I'm going with the guy that hits bombs. I'm going with the guy, again, no dome games this weekend, some colder weather games. I haven't really looked at the forecast, but I'm guessing Jacksonville will have the best kicking conditions. So Cam Little, right? That's the name.
Yeah.
Again, this team kicker thing, I don't even know any of the kickers' names anymore. I'm going Jacksonville team kicker.
Yeah.
And then team defense, the Broncos, I'm going 2X there. And, you mentioned Sutton and Harvey that you guys have. I think those are the other Broncos to look at. My roster composition really didn't work there. I mentioned I had McConkey at wide receiver. Maybe I'll change my mind. I could easily put Sutton in there and then go with the Chargers defense. But for now, I have the Denver defense in, and that'll be my 2X next week.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so that's our lineups. We did a position by position. We each got 12, and we're each undecided if we did the right thing or not. So we've got time, 24 hours to work on that. But as I mentioned on Monday, footballguys.com is really pushing our contest to their customers. Dan Hendry created an optimizer tool. It's fantastic. If you're a subscriber, check that out. It's an optimizer. You can basically put it in your quarterbacks, and it'll tell you what to do after that. It's really good. So footballguys.com, thank you so much there. Tom did a podcast with Dave Klug. Dave Klug's written an article on how to set a winning lineup as well. It's fantastic. Kudos to rotowire.com as well. I did a podcast with Jeff Erickson. They've been talking about our contest all week on SiriusXM. So we've got a lot of people promoting these contests. I expect a lot of signups tomorrow, tonight, and hopefully we can sell out both of these contests. So enjoy and good luck. And let's just end this by going over each game and kind of picking against the spread and deciding what we're going to do here. Tom, you go first on each of these. First one on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Rams at Carolina, Rams minus 10.5.
Well, I think the Rams do win this game. I think they're the better team. Can the Panthers cover? Possibly. I think the Panthers can cover. They're a little bit healthier on the offensive line, which I think will help them. Obviously, the last game, we know the Panthers defense got to Stafford, but I do think the Rams are the better team. They're going to win this one, I think, pretty convincingly. I think they do cover the spread here as well. And then Saturday night, I think the Packers are the better team, honestly. Even without Micah Parsons, I just think they're the better team right now. So I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game. And I think they do cover the spread as well. It's going to be a close game. Could end up being a field goal game as well, maybe a 2-3 point game. But I'm going to pick the Packers to win this game and go on. I think the Bears are a very weak number 2 seed. I think the Eagles absolutely should have gone in there and won and taken the number 2 seed. But we'll see how that plays itself out.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, I think the Jaguars are a better team than the Bills, and so I don't think the Bills should be favored here. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this football game. So again, another close game, very close game. I don't think this hits the over, by the way. I think if you're betting, you want to bet the under on this one. I don't think it hits 52.5. So I think the Jaguars win and take the under. Philadelphia and San Francisco, again, I like the Eagles. This is up to 5.5 though right now. It was like it, I think, what, 2.5, 3.5.
I think it opened at
Yeah,
3.5.
That worries me. I do think it should be a little bit closer than that. So I don't like the Eagles at near 6. I think it's going to be closer than that. The Eagles are, again, we know they got offensive problems. I like Philly, but I don't like it at near 6. So I do think it'll be a closer game than that. But I do like Philadelphia. The Chargers, Patriots, again, I picked Drake May, and the Patriots go to the Super Bowl. So I got to pick New England to win this one. I think they can win by about 5 or 6 here, though. Again, the Chargers have had issues on offense. Their offensive line's got problems. So I like New England in this one. And then on Monday night, Houston against Pittsburgh. I'll take the Texans to cover this one. I'm not a big CJ Stroud guy, but again, I just don't think the Steelers are that good. They should not be in the playoffs. The Ravens just blew that game big time. So I think the Texans win this one. Their defense is just that good. So I think they win and cover pretty easily.
Yeah, Geoff, you got any objections to those or any insights on any of these?
Yeah, no, just real quick, I'll go over my picks. That Rams-Carolina game, it's at half a point for me. 10's a key number, a touchdown and a field goal. So 10.5 to a home team in a playoff game. Give me the 10.5 points with Carolina, but I think St. Louis. I don't think it's probably that close for most of the game. Maybe a backdoor cover, a backdoor field goal, something at the end that covers that 10.5. I'm with you guys on Green Bay, Chicago. Again, now the Bears opened as a point favorite. Green Bay to a 1.5 now. So somebody somewhere is betting Green Bay. I'm with them. Give me the Packers there. I said I think this is Josh Allen and Buffalo's year to come out of the AFC, so I got to stick with them. The Philadelphia one, I'm even at 5.5. I think I'm still going Philadelphia right now. That San Francisco, who knows how good Chicago was. That game replayed in a lot of people's head. And then you've seen what they did against Seattle last week. I kind of think Philadelphia sets up the same way, except this time they're on the road after traveling cross country. Give me Philly there. And then I'm going to take the Chargers to cover. I still think New England probably wins, but man, oh man, when you just look, what they beat one winning team all year, I don't know. I just don't buy New England yet. It's one of those things where, again, where like I want to see the team get to that point, and then next year I may be in, but I don't know. I'm still a little too skeptical there. So I'm going to go the Chargers to cover that one. And then, man, I can't believe you guys are going against Aaron Rodgers after all he's done for you guys. But again, it's just my old school gambling mentality. 3 points to a home team in a playoff game. I'm going to take that 3 points, but I don't feel confident about that at all. But I can't take a road team, especially a road team like Houston. What was that Thursday night game in the year where they couldn't protect? They looked like the worst offense in football. And, they turned it around somewhat. But I still kind of think the home field here, and I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win. I think the home field plays a role. I think the fact that it's outdoors plays a role. I think Houston's a little bit overrated, so I'm going to go Pittsburgh in that one.
Damn, I wish we were at the casino together this weekend. We'd have a lot of fun. I think my best bets are Houston to cover and New England to cover. I mean, I've watched New England. I agree with Geoff. I think they're young and stuff, but I've watched them the last couple of weeks, and they are so efficient. They don't make mistakes. They don't get a lot of penalties. Drake May looks so comfortable in the pocket. Chargers offensive line is so beat up. So if I can get to the casino this weekend in Green Bay, I'm definitely going to go Houston and New England. That 5.5 scares me a little bit. This Niners team is not that bad. Yes, they're banged up, but I think the Niners can cover that one. I have no idea on that Jacksonville game. I got to put some skin in the game just to enjoy that one even more, I think, because I just think that 1.5 Buffalo being favored is such a intriguing line. It really is. So I think Jacksonville can cover that, but I would not be surprised if the Bills go there and win and get on a run here for sure. So, and for the Packers, you know what? That's a coin flip. I think that thing's going right down to the end. I mean, it's my heart talking, but I certainly can see the Bears coming back. The last 2 weeks, man, they've been taxed in 2 really tough games, whereas the Packers were able to rest up. So we'll see. My biggest prediction is that nothing is going to go as planned this weekend. So while you look at your lineups and you look at our bets, nothing is going to happen the way we just talked about it. That's just the way the NFL is. So,
and
all
just
right.
real quick in the comments, we got Seahawks fans, Scott Engel, a good friend of ours. The Seahawks, the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Good luck to the Packers for 1 week before they go to Seattle. There we go.
Oh, let's do it again, Scotty.
We might have to get him on next week if Seattle and Green Bay.
All right, Scotty, you're on the podcast if we get there. We will talk about 2016. Tom and I will throw up because we should have won that game so many times over. It's unbelievable. So, but let's get back together, buddy. Let's get back together in that game. All right. Okay. Now remember, set your lineups by 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. The only players that are locking at that time are the Rams and the Panthers, okay? But set your lineup, get a legal lineup in the system, and then you can move them around before their kickoffs, okay? We'll have ownership percentages after the Monday game because we won't know everything until everybody's lineups are locked. So on the Monday game, you'll see the ownership percentage. We'll talk about that next Tuesday here. We'll have another podcast, and we'll announce the round 1 winners. Again, you get nothing for winning in round 1, okay? We pay after round 4, so do that, all right? So everybody, good luck. Jump in, playnffc.com. That's playnffc.com. Again, we're right around 65, 70% sold. We're going to have a big day tomorrow and sell these babies out, all right? Any last words, boys?
No, good luck to everybody. Like I say, get in, let's play, let's have some fun starting on Saturday.
Right.
We had fun last night with the college football game, another one tonight, and then 3 days of NFL playoffs. What a weekend. What a great time to be a football fan.
Absolutely. And last night's game was really well played. That was a really, really good game. Really great finish. I think tonight's game is going to be as well. All right. That's a wrap on our High Stakes Fantasy Weekly podcast. Thanks, everyone, and good luck. We'll see you next week with another High Stakes Weekly podcast again to announce week 1 leaders, not winners, leaders. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone, and good luck.
Thank you for joining us on the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. To get in the game, go to playnfc.com.